Since antimatter particles are essentially identical to regular matter, other than the opposite charge thing, they can combine together in essentially identical ways to form antiprotons, anti-atoms, anti-molecules, and in principle, anything from anti-ants to anti-Matterhorns.
Would it ever be possible to discover antimatter outside of the lab, and why?
It would actually be really rare, and we wouldn't be able to interact with it at all. It's even hard to make in the lab because of how explosive it is. The second it will come into contact with actual matter that we connect with, it will explode and create a really violent explosion. First off, antimatter is really hard to create, and it's even rarer to find. So it would be hard to produce in large enough quantities for it to be a common fuel source. And there's a lot of other dangers too. Like, it produces gamma rays, which would give you radiation poisoning and make you very, very sick. So it's definitely a possibility for it to be used in the future, but we'd have to do a lot of work first. It definitely could be contained enough to use as a common fuel source. We definitely have to find a better way of making it though, and it would be hard to find something to contain it enough that it wouldn't explode. We call ourselves common matter, but that's not really true at all. There's only about 5% of the universe that's made out of the same matter that we are. The rest of it's made out of stuff called dark matter, or dark energy, and it makes up what is known as the dark universe.
When scientists first measured the motion of groups of galaxies in the 1930s and weighed the amount of matter they contained, they were in for a surprise. They found that there's not enough visible stuff in those groups to hold them together. From what we can see, they ought to fly apart, but they don't. So there must be stuff there that we can't see. We call that stuff dark matter.
It's definitely even more possible that a being made out of dark matter and dark energy could exist, although we would have a really tough time finding them, and it would be even harder for us to interact in any way, shape, or form. A being of dark matter definitely wouldn't react with their surroundings the same way that we do. We react with what we call common matter, even when it's not that common at all. And they're just complete. They would just be completely different from us. They would have a different way of looking at things. Their eyes, or what they use to sense the sights around them, would probably register things on different wavelengths than we do, as we can't even see the dark matter. In the future, it's really going to be important for people to have an interest in these sort of things, otherwise they're not going to want to go into those fields. And if nobody's interested in the fields, then nothing further is going to be done. They should definitely be taught, even if it's only a little bit. I feel like it could be an elective, especially in our school, maybe for the juniors or seniors, especially if you elected to take 2 science classes in your sophomore year. You'd be ahead of your peers, and you'd have the opportunity to take a class like this.